My name is Emily Carter, and back then I was 26 years old, working the night shift at Mercy General Hospital in Ohio. I wasn't the kind of woman people expected to have a dramatic love life. I was quiet. I read in break rooms. I brought muffins for my coworkers. I believed kindness solved everything. Back then, at least. That was before Daniel Riker. I met Daniel the old-fashioned way, through a friend's cookout on a humid July afternoon in 2001, back when people still talked face-to-face instead of sending emails or instant messages. He was charming in that earnest kind of way. He wasn't loud or flashy, he was just attentive. He remembered little things I said and repeated them back later, like proof that he was listening. Most men overlooked my quietness. He studied it like a favorite song. We started dating gently. Coffee before shifts, walks in the park. He'd wait outside the hospital some mornings after my 12-hour nights, holding a thermos of hot tea like it was normal, like anyone would do that. The first time he said I love you was after 6 weeks. I laughed, assuming it was a joke. Who says that so soon? But his face didn't change. He just held my hands like I was slipping away and whispered, I don't want to ever lose you. I should have recognized that sentence for what it was. Not romance. A warning. For the first 6 months, I thought I was lucky. He wasn't like other boyfriends. He didn't forget to call. In fact, he never stopped calling. If I didn't answer, he'd leave messages, sometimes sweet, sometimes silent. Just his breathing, like he wanted me to feel his presence instead of hear his voice. I brushed it off. He's just sensitive. He worries. The first real fight we had was when I went out with coworkers after a shift. Nothing wild, just pancakes at a 24-hour diner. I forgot to call him. When I finally got home at 3 a.m., he was sitting on my porch steps, hands clasped, staring at the door like a loyal dog waiting for its master. He stood when he saw me, relief flooding his face. You weren't answering. I thought something happened. You scared me. I apologized. I comforted him. I told myself I was lucky to be cared for so deeply. But inside, something tugged. A small voice. That's not normal. By the spring of 2002, we'd been together almost a year. People kept asking when we were moving in together. He'd already asked many times, but I hesitated. It wasn't anything dramatic, just little things. Like how he'd straighten objects on my shelf if they were crooked, or how he'd ask twice if I liked something, as if weighing if I was lying, or how he'd casually mention things I'd never told him out loud, like that I didn't eat lunch during shifts, or that I'd switched to a different route driving home last week. How did you know that? Oh, I just pay attention, he'd smile. One night, lying in bed beside him, I realized I didn't feel alone even when I was alone. I felt watched. The night I broke up with him was quiet. No theatrics, no shouting. We were sitting in his car outside my apartment. I told him I needed space, that I didn't feel like myself anymore, that I needed time to think. He didn't yell, he didn't beg, he just stared at me, hands resting on the steering wheel, knuckles white. Emily, you don't mean that. I do, Dan. I just need time. There was a long silence. Then he turned and looked at me, really looked at me, like he was memorizing me. We're not over. We're just taking a break. I didn't argue. I just got out of the car and went inside. I remember locking the door behind me, not because I thought he was dangerous, but because my hands moved on their own, as if they knew something I didn't. I leaned against the door, breathing hard, not crying, not relieved, just aware. Aware of the silence, aware of my heartbeat. And then, 3 soft knocks. Not loud, not angry, just 3 perfect knocks, evenly spaced. I froze. I didn't open it. I didn't speak. I stood there until I heard footsteps retreating down the stairs. That was the last normal night of my life, because Daniel may have accepted the breakup that night, but he never believed it. To him, we never ended.